Let me tell you something important today. Just because you're not where you thought you'd be, doesn't mean you're not right on time. You see, a tree doesn't grow faster because you yell at it. It grows because it's rooted deep, and it knows the seasons, and maybe right now, you're just in winter. But winter isn't death, it's preparation. So listen closely. When you feel behind in life, it's easy to believe you've failed. You look around and see others accomplishing more, moving faster, checking off milestones you haven't reached yet. That pressure builds up quietly. It whispers in your mind that you're late, that you've missed your shot, that it's too late to catch up. But let me offer you a different perspective. Just because you're not where you thought you'd be doesn't mean you're not right where you're supposed to be. Life moves in seasons. Sometimes it's spring. Things blossom, everything clicks, and results are visible. Other times it's winter, quiet, still. It feels like nothing's happening, but winter isn't death. Winter is preparation. It's the season when roots grow deeper, when systems strengthen beneath the surface. And most people forget, without winter, spring would never arrive with such power. You see, growth doesn't always look like progress. Some of the most important breakthroughs happen quietly. You might not see them, but they are shaping your character, testing your resolve, and building your strength. Just because your results haven't come yet doesn't mean they aren't on the way. Life doesn't always reward speed, it rewards alignment. The right thing at the right time. When you rush the process, you often ruin the outcome. Trees don't grow faster just because you yell at them. They grow because the environment supports their growth, and because they're patient with the process. It's the same with your journey. You may not feel successful yet, but if you're doing the work, learning, improving, showing up, you are growing. And that growth will show, but only in its season. Feeling behind is often more about your expectations than your reality. You had a picture of where you should be by now, but that picture wasn't based on your full story. It was built on comparison, assumptions, and unrealistic pressure. Life unfolds differently for everyone. You're not a failure just because your timeline looks different. You're not behind, you're becoming. And if you'll be patient with the season you're in and keep doing the right things, the results will show up. Not late, but right on time. One of the fastest ways to lose momentum in life is to start comparing yourself to others. It happens quietly, almost without noticing. You see someone on social media celebrating a new job, a relationship, a milestone, and suddenly your progress feels small. You start to believe you're behind because someone else seems ahead. But here's a truth most people miss. Comparison isn't just stealing your joy, it's stealing your focus. Everyone is on a different path, and every path has its own challenges, detours, and timing. The problem is, when you compare your behind, the scenes to someone else's highlight reel, you're not seeing the full picture. You're not seeing the nights they struggled, the times they failed, or the sacrifices they made. You're comparing your chapter 2 to their chapter 10, and that's never a fair comparison. When you constantly measure your worth by where others are, you stop focusing on where you are, and what you need to do. You drift from your purpose. You make decisions based on someone else's success, not your own design. And when that happens, you lose clarity. You lose confidence. You stop building your life and start chasing someone else's. It's easy to forget that life is not a race. It's a process of unfolding. The timeline you're on is yours for a reason. Just because it's different doesn't mean it's wrong. In fact, some of the most successful people took longer paths. They didn't peak early, they didn't arrive quickly, but they arrived prepared, and that made all the difference. Focus is powerful. When you stop worrying about who's ahead and turn your attention inward, toward your own growth, habits, and goals, you gain something comparison can never offer: peace, and with peace comes progress. Not the kind the world shouts about, but the kind that lasts. So instead of asking, why am I not there yet? Try asking, what's my next step? Because your journey isn't supposed to look like anyone else's. The moment you start honoring your own path is the moment you start moving forward with power. And if you keep going at your pace on your path, you'll find that you're not behind at all. You're just focused on what matters most. So many people feel stuck in life because they don't see immediate results. They say, I've been trying, or I've been working hard, but nothing seems to change. And because they can't see progress, they start believing their asterisk is no progress. But that belief is a trap. The truth is, progress doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. And if you're showing up, learning, improving, even just trying, you're planting seeds. Think about a farmer. He doesn't plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. He knows the process takes time. First the seed settles, then roots begin to spread, and only much later does the plant start to break the surface. It's the same with your efforts. Just because you don't see the outcome yet doesn't mean your work is wasted. Growth often happens in silence, but when the time is right, what you've built behind the scenes becomes visible. Every book you read, every disciplined choice you make, every time you resist giving up, you are adding to your foundation. And while the world may not applaud those moments, they are the moments that shape your future. The mistake most people make is quitting before their season arrives. They dig up their seeds too early, wondering why nothing has grown. But success doesn't work that way. You don't get the reward before the routine. You don't get the harvest before the habit. It's easy to say, I've been working hard and nothing's changing. But the real question is, are you consistent? Are you committed? Because success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do daily. If you've been planting, keep planting. If you've been growing, keep growing. The results will come, not when you demand them, but when you've earned them. This is the hidden power of persistence. Every small act matters, every effort counts, and the day will come when people will call you an overnight success. Even though you'll know the truth, it was never overnight. It was seed after seed, day after day, season after season. If you're in the season of planting, don't rush it. Trust it, because the harvest is already on its way. There's a misconception many people carry, that delay means denial. That if something hasn't happened yet, it won't. That if success hasn't arrived on their timeline, it must not be meant for them. But that idea is not only false, it's dangerous. Because delay is often life's way of preparing you for something greater. It's not rejection, it's refinement, it's development. Look at any strong structure. A tall building, a great bridge, a powerful tree. And you'll notice something. The deeper the foundation, the higher it can rise. The more stable the roots, the stronger it can stand. And building a strong foundation takes time. That's why some of the most successful people didn't rise quickly. They were being shaped, refined, prepared behind the scenes. The world didn't see it, but it mattered. If success had come earlier, they may not have been ready for it. And the same goes for you. Sometimes what feels like a delay is actually protection. You may be wishing for the spotlight when life is giving you the tools. You may be praying for results while life is still shaping your character. And here's the truth. What you become in the waiting is more valuable than what you get at the end of it. When we rush the process, we often collapse under the weight of what we asked for. That's why patience isn't just a virtue. It's a requirement. Not passive waiting, but active preparation. Learning, growing, failing forward. Because one day, the opportunity will come. And when it does, you'll either be ready or regretful. Delay is the space where greatness is built. It's the silent training ground where you develop resilience, discipline, and wisdom. These qualities aren't formed when everything is going right. They're built when nothing seems to be working, but you show up anyway. That's where strength is born. So if you feel delayed, take heart. You're not being forgotten. You're being forged. And when the time is right, everything you've been working toward, everything you've been becoming, will come together. Not just to give you what you wanted, but to prove that who you became in the process was worth the wait. Real change doesn't begin with the world around you. It begins with the world within you. It's easy to think that if your job changed, if your relationships changed, if your circumstances improved, then everything would be better. But the truth is, if you don't change, nothing changes. That's what I learned from one of the most powerful ideas Jim Rohn ever shared. If you will change, everything will change for you. Most people spend their energy trying to fix the external. They blame the economy, the boss, the government, the environment, or even their past. But blaming never leads to building. Nothing shifts until you take ownership, not responsibility for everything that's happened to you, but for how you respond to it. That response is where your power lies. You don't control what comes your way, but you control how you grow through it. You can choose to read instead of complain. You can choose to discipline your time instead of wasting it. You can choose to work on your mindset instead of blaming your misfortunes. That's not motivational fluff. That's the foundation of personal transformation. Success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. And becoming that person requires intention. It requires you to ask daily, am I becoming more valuable? Am I growing in patience, in skill, in focus? Am I building a life that reflects who I want to be? Or am I waiting for life to hand it to me? Here's the secret. When you grow, everything else starts to shift. New doors open because you've developed the key. New people show up because you've raised your standards. New opportunities appear because you've expanded your capacity to handle them. You don't need to chase change. You need to become change. So instead of waiting for better circumstances, become the kind of person who creates better circumstances. Instead of asking, when will life give me a break? Ask, what can I become while I wait? Because once you change, the way you see life changes. And the way life responds to you changes as well. That's the power you've had all along. Not in changing the world first, but in changing you. It's easy to look at your life and feel like you're not where you should be. The goals you set aren't reached yet. The dreams feel distant. The pace feels slow. You start to think maybe you missed your chance or took too long. But here's something most people forget. You're not behind. You're becoming, and becoming takes time. There's a process to growth that can't be rushed. Everyone wants the result, but not everyone is willing to go through the process. The problem is, if you get there too fast without becoming the kind of person who can stay there, you'll lose it. It's not enough to reach the finish line. You need the strength, the mindset, and the discipline to sustain it once you arrive. That's why the journey matters so much more than just the destination. You may not be able to control how long it takes, but you can control who you become along the way. Every setback you've experienced, every challenge you've faced, every time you've kept going when it would have been easier to quit, that's building you. It's not wasted time. It's not falling behind. It's preparation. Silent, steady preparation for what's coming. There's a myth that success belongs to the fastest, but in reality, it belongs to the most faithful. The ones who keep showing up when the results are invisible. The ones who keep working on their craft, their mindset, and their purpose, even when no one's clapping. That kind of quiet consistency creates momentum that eventually becomes unstoppable. And here's what you need to remember. You don't have to be at the top to be on the right path. You don't have to be applauded to be making progress. What matters is that you keep taking steps, one foot in front of the other, one decision, one habit, one day at a time. That's how becoming happens. Not all at once, but little by little. You're not late, you're not behind. You're in the middle of becoming the version of yourself that's capable of handling the life you've been dreaming of. So keep going, keep becoming, because what's meant for you is not ahead of schedule. It's waiting for you to be ready. And every step you take brings you closer to it.